I have to do it.
So, I think you said that you probably do it 3 days a week, is
About
that?
3 days a week, yeah, but I don't do it for 3 hours either.
Right, so think about just, and this is just rhetorical, if you did lead generate for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, the success that you're having right now is off of 3 days a week, a couple of hours.
Right.
What does that look like? What does that look like if you do that for 5 days, 3 hours, 15 hours?
No, it really looks good. I mean, it does, I
Yeah.
know it works.
And you have the systems and tools to support you, right? So don't ever let the fear of generating too much business, and that's a real fear. That's a real fear that I know people have when I was coaching some of the agents when I was still in MCA. A real fear that people have is that they're gonna generate so much business that they're not gonna be able to give the support and that they're not gonna be able to keep up with everything and that their clients aren't gonna feel that they're taken care of. But you guys have all the systems for that you need. The Millionaire Real Estate Agent tells you step by step what you have to do to build a business. And you've got Debbie and you've got Becca and you've got John who can help you understand how to hire the right person. We've got a class coming out that's replacing Recruit Select called Career Visioning that's gonna actually walk you through how to hire that perfect assistant. It's taking place at Recruit Select. They're actually rolling that out right now. So you've got all of that support if you're just willing to put yourself out there and ask and learn and grow. Yeah, John?
Our bold coach said something that really just rings true for me, and I repeat it now all the time. He said, lead gen sounds like this. Just the consistency, doing it, making sure you're doing it, being proactive. It's something that simple made a lot of us go, okay, I
Got it.
get it, you know.
Yep. It's the key, right? Awesome. So one of the next basic skills was mastering your education and keeping up with it. So on page 28 at the very bottom, one of the things that I want to make sure that you underline, oh actually before we do that, go back to the previous page and fold it down, like earmark it. Even if you do not implement anything from this class today, keep this material. Because what's gonna happen when the market shifts, I want you to pull this back out and go to that page and it's gonna tell you exactly what you need to improve. You've just done that in a mindset of, I wanna do this now, and you know that that's the right thing. So if the market shifts or when the market shifts and you haven't done anything, come back and look at that. Because that's your brain in a good spot telling you what to do. Does that make sense? Okay, so the next page, 28, keep up with your education. And what I want you to get from this is, at the very bottom it says, when you look at cutting your expenses, do not consider cutting education. Without education and inspiration, you may become stagnant in your business. Instead, you get plugged in and grow from the educational opportunities that are available around you. Okay? This is a really important thing. Education has been key for me in this position over the last 9 years. There's been times where I've been feeling really down and I go to family reunion and something inspires me and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Or I go to mega camp and I talk to people that I've known for years and they're like, I'm doing this and I'm inspired. I'm like, okay, me too, right? You hear just that one nugget that's going to change the way that you're looking at something. So on page 29, this is just, it says, what educational events will you participate in the next 6 months? I would just say Win with Buyers is right around the corner from you. That seems kind of like a no-brainer to me that you guys would go to that one.
Yeah, we should roll around the corner.
I've got 3 states to put events in. And then we've got, I talked to Debbie earlier about bringing career visioning here later this fall. And there's another one, Agent Masterminds is coming up on the regional level. And I know that they have a tremendous training calendar for you guys to pick from as well. But those are just a couple of examples of things that you can do. All right, so page 30, be a student of the market. So I told you about the language of real estate earlier on the regional level. This is just an example of what we publish every single month. And this is available to you to use. If you go to the www.kwparegion.com, you'll find every month this is uploaded for everyone to use, and it's in a format that you should be able to download. It's also sent to your leadership members, so they should be able to send you a different type of copy if you have a hard time downloading that. And this just tells us how we're doing compared to the how the Greater Pennsylvania region, and this one's for trend. I do this in 4 different formats. Greater Pennsylvania region is outpacing the market in every single category.
Can you give me that website again?
www.kwparegion.com.
Got it, thank you.
So this is really good information for you. Just a way to be a student of the market. It's an everyday commitment. That is your friend. So even if you're not going to do the affordability index and share it with your buyers and sellers, some of you may elect to do that. But it's good for you to know it, right? It's good for you to know what's going on in your market. Know both national and local statistics. You know regional statistics. Know the best buys. Communicate that. Know the status of all homes and the proximity of your listings. I think that kind of goes without saying, right? We want to make sure that we know what's going on. On page 31, this is a resource guide for you. Just different resources and sources to find market statistics. And I gave you the Keller Williams Greater Pennsylvania page. On page 32 is an example of what Bruce Hardy, who is a regional director in the Northwest region, did when he was an agent to kind of stay on top of knowing his numbers. Just an example. On page 33, I don't know what that was, but it was scary. It
Sounds like $5 to KW Canada.
Bruce's cell phone went off. So on page 33, just another example of a graph that you could use to communicate and be a student of the market. And it's not just enough to know these numbers yourself, right? What do you have to do with them?
Internalize them.
Communicate them. You got it. On page 34, be the media. So this all comes back to being the media, right? This all comes back to making sure that our buyers and sellers are finding out from the market from us and not what MSNBC is telling them. Because like I said, MSNBC might be telling them what's happening in this large scale, but what's happening here locally is much different. I've got probably 8 or 9 examples of just how different it is just within our region. In our regions, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware, how vastly different everything is. So knowing that. Page 34 has an exercise for you to use on page 35. This is something that I think that you should come back to because, again, your market's going to be different, right? You might elect to do this more locally. You could do it macro. You could do it like, all those different ways. So page 35 is a good exercise for you to come back to and use this as a template when you're pulling those numbers. Fair? '36 talks about being a great communicator. It means leveraging new great scripts and dialogues and appreciating the art and value of conversation. So a couple of people came up to me when we were kind of going through break and they're like, I never knew this stuff about you. Why are you a Regional MCA? Right? But understanding that that's how people get to learn about you. That's how they're going to learn about the market. That's how they're going to learn about everything else that's going on. Right? And understanding that your role in that is to be the local economist of choice. And then 37 talks about re-messaging. So it talks about messages for sellers and messages for buyers. We sell homes for half the time. We sell homes for X percentage of list price. Call for the 10 best buys. So are you communicating a strong offer in your marketing materials that attracts buyers and sellers? Or are your marketing materials, I've got the best whatever that has nothing to do with what you're trying to communicate? 38 talks about how to speak confidently with buyers and sellers. Knowing your market facts. A lot of this is repeat, that's why I'm going so fast. I hope you guys can appreciate that. Have simple graphs and charts that are easy to understand. That's why I kind of like this one. It's very simple and easy to follow. There's some pictures of some good looking people, a couple of words, right? Chart in the middle. Becca does a great one for a training tracker every month. Motivating buyers to buy is on page 39. And then on page 40, it all comes together with lead generating for 3 hours a day. I have written here, it's your one thing, right next to that. Your one thing. So make a little note to yourself for the future. This is your one thing. Any ahas from that portion of the content? We went through it a little bit quickly. What are you guys getting? Anything good? Ready for this class to be over? Nothing good? Yeah.
I think being the professional, knowing the market, having the numbers, educating your client, whether buyer or seller, is a way to differentiate from our competition and things like that. There's a lot of them are just winging it,
Right.
and we want to outshine the competition, so.
Yeah.
And we want to help our clients, and this is a good way to.
Right, this is gonna be the biggest financial transaction most of them will ever make, right? We wanna make sure that we're educating them, that they feel good about it. Some of them are just gonna like the fact that there's granite countertop, right?
Right.
Some of them aren't really gonna care so much about the numbers, but having it for the people who do care is really important, right?
I think being the media too is strong as realtors, because we are the media to the buyers and sellers.
Absolutely.
Even then, when we were in that last shift, I mean, there was a lot of negative agents in the office, but everybody asked me how the market was. It was great, you know, it was great. I may be doing some short sales, but the market was great. I was still busy.
There's always a market, right?
I like creating urgency for the buyer. I think that was pretty good. Just put out a list, put out a message that says, call me about a foreclosure list.
Right,
We can search the MLS for REOs,
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
and everybody wants to buy a foreclosure.
Yeah, they
Until they-
want the best
until they
deal,
deal.
right? Until they're in the middle of it and they're like, why did I ever want to do this? Anything else? Awesome. Okay, page 42. Be efficient and effective. The next couple of things are gonna be, there's a lot of stuff in here that's stuff for you to internalize solo. I got through what I wanted to, right? Mindset, you can succeed in any office, in any market, and you have to lead generate 3 hours a day. Do you think I did that effectively? That was my goal,
Yes.
right? My goal today was to walk away with you guys, number one, being kind of afraid of me. And number two, really understanding the urgency around lead generation, right? Making sure you're saving the money, making sure you're putting it aside. And these next couple of pages, we're gonna go through them really quickly. They kind of tell you how to do that. But there's a lot of internal stuff that's gonna happen when you do this. There's gonna be things that you're gonna wanna look at yourself. So I'm gonna give you the resource, and then what my expectation is that now that you guys have a sense of urgency around it, that you'll actually go back and look at this and implement this in your business. Fair? Okay, so be efficient and effective. Review everything with a critical eye. Is your money making money for you? Right? My husband and I buy investment properties. We've got 7 of them. When we buy a property, we need to make sure that that property is gonna make us money, or it's not gonna be a good buy, right? So review everything with a critical eye, go into it that way. Focus on your 20% lead generation, right? Rethink how you use and work with people. Do you have the best people on your team? Your team consists of not only your immediate sales team, but your transaction coordinator, your title company, your mortgage people. Are they the best people for your team? Restructure is needed, increase accountability. Systemize everything on page 43. Everything needs to have a system. I think Becca would probably appreciate that as well. Have a system for lead generation. Have a system for lead conversion, expense management, and leverage with people. So when you time block, does everybody know what time blocking is? When you time block for lead generation, put in that time block exactly what you're going to do. Spell it out. So if you're going to be lead generating for 3 hours a day, what exactly does that look like inside that time block? Give yourself some hints, right? If you're going to lead generate for 3 hours a day, this is what you're going to do while you're doing it. Number 1, you're going to call your sphere of influence. Number 2, you're going to call for sale by owners and expires, right? Whatever that looks like for you, but build that into your time blocking. Systemize it. Get in the game. So, this is course page 47. So this is, the next couple of pages kind of go through, this is what we've been talking about. Who's on your side, who's on your team. So get in the game. And on page 47, what I want you to, is it 47?
Doesn't have a
49.
page number. Which one?
Yeah, it's missing.
47 doesn't have
It
a
says
page
get
number.
in the game at the top of it, it's 47. It looks like this. What I want you to underline here is it's the last sentence in the first paragraph. Stay in tune with the market. Read, plug in, find opportunities. And then commit to staying in business. Gary says a shifting market may not provide your best year, but it doesn't have to be a disaster. Once you commit to staying in a game, accept that your gains may not be as spectacular as before the shift. Accept that it's time to improve processes and skills and lay the foundation for growth when the market shifts again. So I want you to underline that, and then this is one of those pages that I want you to earmark. Because if you pull this out 2 years from now, I want this to be something that holds your attention, and I want you to read this page. All right, so let's skip forward to page 49. And it says the bottom line.
It's 50.
Is it 50? Does it say the bottom line? Sorry. I actually asked the course, people who write the courses to put all the pages on here, because it's a little confusing. And then you've got multiple, like, this is just the first, this is a course that has, I think, 9 classes. And it gets really confusing when you have multiple ones printed. Okay, so the bottom line, Opportunity Warriors, she's not here, but she did an amazing job. Embrace the market and do what you must do to survive. Accept the law of supply and demand. Understand affordability. Become the media. Master your skills. Embrace the opportunity of the market. I love this quote by Gary. Move fast and with confidence. There will be huge winners out of a shifted market. A shifted market provides your next ledge to gaining a better foothold in your market. Make it happen. All right. Alright guys, what are your ahas from this morning's class? Or afternoon, I should say.
Lead gen.
Legion. Aw, you're my favorite. What else?
Time block and taking time.
Time block and system. Keith. Carrie. Okay. What is your name? Heather. Heather. I'm gonna send you a picture of my. I'm gonna pull a picture of Carrie up so that you can
Okay.
see how like it's freaky similar. Really funny. So Heather. What was yours?
Prepare.
Prepare. What else?
Expenses, keep them low.
Keep them low.
And control.
Pay off consumer debt right now. Get rid of your credit card balances, pay down your cars, do what you can do to kind of get to a place where your debt is your mortgage on your home and your living expenses, right? That wouldn't be considered real debt. Plus, how great would that feel if that's all that you had, right? Another thing that you might consider is creating passive income. So if you're saving cash, cause you save the cash in a way that you invest in a real estate property, an investment property that then pays you money every single month, right? In most markets, you need probably about $25,000 to $40,000 in order to buy your first investment property. My first investment property was $90,000. It's right by a college. It's 2 units and it nets us $1,000 extra passive every single month.
My first one was 29,000.
A little different.
Actually, I bought it before I was in the real estate business.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
But those properties can be a source of income for you. So what else is there, you know what I mean? If you're investing, if you're saving money, it doesn't have to just be cash is king, right? You can strategically put that where it's gonna actually make you money and build equity for you. What else? Well, thank you, Debbie and Becca, for inviting me to come today. I hope that everybody got a lot out of it. If you can do me a favor, if there's a kwueval.com, my name's probably not in the scroll down because I was just approved as a KWU certified instructor. But if you can, make sure to go all the way to the bottom. It'll say name not in drop down. My name's Michelle McBride.
What was the website?
It's KWU eval.
The last page of your packet.
And if you can fill that out for me, that would be great. All good scores, please. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Michelle.